One reason why a lot of people fail in life, and well, not necessarily fail, but relapse when it comes to them trying to pull themselves out of something. See, the point is when someone hates doing something, when someone ends up in a cycle, do you like it? Most likely not, because sooner or later you're getting bored of it. You've gotten bored of school, you've gotten bored of jobs, you've gotten bored of the same people in your life because this is how this sick society has been arranged for you. It is nothing else but an asylum that will nurture your psychoticness, right? Your boredom, your anything that is damaging to you. Everything that is repetitive is in the end damaging if we are to think a bit about. If we are to take a bit of let's think a bit about this. See, when we talk about jobs that are very damaging to the brain, some people may not expect this, but the job of a merchant or seller or whatever you call it at the supermarket, that is a very destructive job because taking all those products over that, bands and, marking them through the laser, that is hyper repetitive. The brain doesn't like repetitiveness, but this sick society doesn't care about you. Zionism doesn't care about you. It's all about killing as many people because that's what that religion is all about. It's all about killing any other people who are not of your own kind because, well, that's the only way God will love you. Whether you believe this or not, it's really not important to me at all. It is just the foundation of this sick society, and it's been so for at least 2,000-3,000 years. When we go further, see, let's get back to the idea of people relapsing. Not necessarily fail, because let's say fail is a bit of a harsh word. See, when you live in a cycle, the problem is that cycle is not necessarily yours. And you haven't always started these cycles. And, well, they were more or less internal or external aspects. They were karmic structures that belong to your parents, ancestors, let's call them, or to your peers, to people around you. You've been programmed to do that, and you've been doing those unconsciously, and you fed them enough energy that, well, now they simply repeat in your life again and again and, well, yet again. And the problem is people simply become pissed. Don't become pissed about those cycles. Take them as a lesson, because there are reasons why those repeat in your life. So ask yourself what the reasons are. The more you get angry about those, the more you fuss about those, the more you victimize about those, the stronger you make them be, because you're seeding your energy into them, right? The more you think about something, you're cementing it, you're making it stronger, because you don't call it in English food for thought for nothing, right? You're feeding your own thoughts, your own energy. It is a huge disrespect for you because those thoughts are nothing else but energy. That piece of meaning is just some stupid little attachment that you give to them. It is your life energy that you're giving to those. And that life energy is limited, right? It is that which is slowly going away because you can say you're alive or you're slowly fading away, right? So the point is, you're sleeping as many hours a day as you sleep, and that is so that you have the corresponding energy for that day. And in some days you may have more, in some days you have less. So the problem is, you're wasting that energy with all sorts of little thoughts that don't make any sense in the end. You will see, once you transcend those, how many times have you told, though, how much of a dum-dum you've been just because you've given attention to those? But before you transcended those cycles, you were still kept within. Now, the problem with life in general is, even if you have transcended some of these so-called cycles, you may still relapse, because cycles still go on. After a lot of years, you'll probably notice that you will start feeling tempted again by things you've been doing a long time ago. You just have to let them pass. Don't force them, because if you want to see something that a lot of people will tell you, and it's completely wrong in most situations, they will tell you if you have a habit is also something bad in all cases, because a habit means you're doing it mechanically. You're getting used to it. Getting used to it, feels good because it is comfort zone. But you're doing it mechanically. You cannot have a habit in a conscious way. Because, for example, one conscious thing that you can do is yoga, yes, or, spiritual practices. They may have the same steps that you do, but you're using your own energy, your own concentration, and you're never going to be the same state in any 2 or 3 of your practices that you may have, right? Sometimes you may be more concentrated, sometimes you just do it because you simply can't concentrate, but you still do it for the sake of it. You know how life goes. It's all about cycles. So the problem is with a lot of people, they are trying to replace a habit or a self-destructive behavior with something else. When you're trying to do that, you're forcing it from a vibration of necessity, right? A vibration of lack. You don't have something better to do, and you become obsessed, or you may become obsessed with something else. Replacing an obsession with something else is not something necessarily useful. It is not something good either, because ultimately you haven't achieved anything. You're still the slave of an obsession. An obsession will take its time to wear out because you are bound, let's say, in a way by certain karmic aspects from your parents, from whatever. Some people simply have to go through pain. Only pain will pull you out of that, and it's like you're paying a certain debt. Don't take it as actually paying a debt. It's just a way through which I can try to explain it, because karma is not a system of reward and punishment. Karma is a system that simply functions. You may believe in it or not, but it is affecting you each and every moment of your life. If you didn't have any karma, you wouldn't even exist in the first place. Because there is elemental karma, there is multiple types of it, but there are multiple types of it. But in the end, let's say that the biggest problem most people have is the quote, I must. See, I must typically stinks of wounded masculine energy, that you withdraw within your shell, and it is extremely hard to pull people out of their wounded masculine energy. Wounded feminine energy is typically vibrant. It will always piss you off. It will always draw your attention that it has certain issues or things that they cannot deal with. So they're very vibrant, and it's gonna, shake you up one way or another. They're gonna victimize, they're gonna be noisy, they're gonna do things that will simply draw your attention that there is something wisdom that they cannot handle, right? When it is about wounded masculine energy, it just withdraws within its own shell, and at times it can be extremely difficult to pull out of that shell because, that's masculine energy. That wounded masculine energy can easily be healed by the divine feminine, because feminine energy is all about elevation, but wounded feminine is all about including you in their own pain. So make use of feminine energy in the correct way. The problem with a lot of people is they are forcing things. When you are forcing things, you're investing a huge amount of your energy into trying to do something. But when you're forcing something, you're going to bump yourself into that wall. The wall of your programming that you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, that something's going to happen, into the walls of those fears, of those insecurities that you have accumulated throughout your life. And the first moment you fail, you're going to feel as if, nothing will ever work, and it will feel as a confirmation of those things that I, presented, a few seconds ago, right? And that is a huge problem. When you want to replace something, do it in a conscious way, not in an unconscious way. When you say I must, that is an unconscious way. You're starting already with a sensation of lack. When you're starting with a sensation of lack, you're focusing on that lack. So not only are you trying to run away from an obsession or something self-destructive, which running away from it means you're feeding it, you're also starting to feed something else, right? A new necessity, a necessity to replace the older necessity. So now you're slowly and surely feeding two of those, cycles that are going to bother you constantly because you gave them the energy to live. And the problem is, they will drain you even more and even more. And you will start, cursing yourself and blaming yourself. And, it's going to spiral down in very horrible ways in some cases. See, sometimes you simply have to go with the flow. If you can't overcome a certain obsession, simply let it be. Let it be, and constantly try to ask yourself the question, why is it that it is there? If you open yourself enough, if you go into nature and try to communicate with nature, put your empty feet, bare feet, whatever you call them in your language, on the ground, try to meditate. Just sit still for 1 minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however much you can. Let all the thoughts flow in your mind. In time, you will see that some answers will come, because up till now, you have programmed your intuition that it is not good. So don't expect it to trigger instantly. But people will get their answers. It is, times as they go and the energy influences slowly and surely favor this more and more. The period of the Kali Yuga, or the most self-destructive period of our existence, or the existence of consciousness, has faded away, and now it is time for people to simply get back into spirituality. Because the way you see things in the world, religion hasn't taught you anything about spirituality. It reminded you that spirituality exists, and there are things of the internal. But the problem is, religions have been distorted and used in all sorts of ways. So the problem is, people will crave more and more to look within. That's why I have designed this channel, to have so many videos that people can watch later on as they will start craving more and more knowledge. Because when people break out of their ignorance, slowly and surely they will want knowledge, because knowledge will entertain them for a while. Once that entertainment no longer works and they start craving to go deep within, they can actually still make use of some knowledge, and they will probably start trying to do some spiritual practices and such. But this can be a long journey. For some people it may take even several lifetimes. So the problem is, relapsing typically happens because you're forcing something, and you're going to see that there is going to be no change. In many cases, there's never going to be any change. You're going to last for a certain period of time, but don't forget, forcing something means being very rough, especially with yourself. Something very durable may be good in certain situations, but a durable tree is never a good thing. The best trees, the ones who live the most, are the ones who know how to bend when the harsh winds blow. Because if you're very durable, you can easily break, right? Under pressure, everything that is durable can easily break. Something that is durable is good for blunt damage, right? You want durable armor against crushing situations or blunt situations, right? But if it is needed for you to bend, well, you want to know how to be able to, bend with all the currents of life. Because life is just a set of currents. How you adapt to those is how well you will live. You don't adapt to those and you try to resist, there is going to be friction. Friction will always cause pain. Pain will cause disappointments. Disappointments will cause delays and confusion. And once you cause delays and confusion, there's going to be even more pain, even more confusions. You're going to lose track of what you should be doing. You're going to lose any idea of personality and such. You're just going to be dealing with some fake aspects. And one day you will look in the mirror and you'll have the impression that you don't recognize what you see in there. Life can easily be fucked up with too much meaning here and there, or investing in the wrong way in your own energies. Because the biggest problem with your own energies is that they are your life force, right? When you invest into those thoughts and such, it's easy to get attached to those because they are your own vibration. It's like they're your children. It's like they are your own extension of your own body. That is why you also feel extremely hard to give up on things that have been lying around in your house. They are now so impregnated with your own energy. It's like giving up a limb if you should give them up. So remember, don't invest too much into obsessions and into trying to deny them. Because, see, denying your own obsessions, denying your own necessities, denying anything typically makes matters worse because it creates resistance. When you create resistance, all natural forces will push through. They will find another way, don't worry. You can encase yourself in a sphere, it doesn't matter, you will be crushed. You can put a wall, it will overflow, or it will come around it. You never can build a defense strong enough that can repress life energies, because they will have to flow, yes? And, well, if you manage to create such a good barrage that energy flow cannot go through there, something else will break within you. And you don't want something to break within you, because psychiatry word might be what's going to be written upon you. Or you can actually break something physical in the worst case scenario, or suddenly get ill of something. And you know how expensive things like that can be, right? Hopefully this raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care. Enjoy life. And this being said, Ferenc Bohor signing out.